Well, welcome, Amanda.
All right. So thank you so
Hello.
much. Hello, Amanda. How are you?
Good, good.
Good, good, good. So nice color of, nice color that you're wearing today. Nice choice. For those of you that don't know Amanda May was down with us in Dallas, live for the book launch. You may see her in the pictures. She's also in the 262 book. She's also graced the stage again, just like Eleanor Pan did. And we're so grateful for you to pop in for us today. When we were talking, it was last year, because I don't think you had baby yet. I think we were talking to you, right? Right. I think you were past it. You're a couple of days overdue. So
yeah, I think I was supposed to have the baby on the date we decided to do the podcast. And then I was like, well, I'm not having a baby today, so I might as well film a podcast. Why not?
Now, there you go. That's a 262 sister. So look at Amanda's going to chat today. Let me tell you a little bit about Amanda. So first of all, she is an international professional speaker. She is a co-host of the Spinozo podcast. She is one of 4 people that sit in an executive role in a 9-figure medical business. She has an incredible story, and I hope if she doesn't touch on it today, I hope you get in touch with her and listen and follow her. I kind of call you from the lash lady to the 9-figure medical business lady. She's going to talk a little bit to us today about the stretch, the softness of stretching. The music she's listening to right now is Post Malone, I Like You. That's such a great title. Her favorite, the thing that she loves that you may not know about herself, she loves to spoil herself with gourmet donuts. I love all these things that we get to find out about each other. Everyone, she's going to be giving you a beautiful gift. Everyone's going to get the Beauty Boss blueprint, which she is most famously known as being called the Beauty Boss. And gift to everyone is 4 chapters of that book. And one person is going to win a beautiful beauty product, which is a concealer, corrector, and primer. And so one person who answers correctly, and I think you all know by now how you do that, is put the answer in your email in the box, or in the chat. I'm talking in the box. So Amanda, I'm just going to hand it over to you. You do this professionally. Share with us on this stretch to significance, but doing it softly.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. And just to confirm, do I have 30 minutes? What's my cutoff time? So I know how much to get in there.
20 minutes-ish? Yeah.
Okay. We'll see how much I can get through. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here with all of you. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on again and have this great conversation, Deb. So thank you as always for asking me to be a part of this. I think as I like settle in and take a look at the women that have joined today, or all the women that are going to be listening over multiple streams and however and whenever they might hear this, I think about how powerful each one of us are and how driven this group of women are. And it just helps me reflect a little bit on my own journey, one that really hasn't always been easy, as we all know, but it's been deeply fulfilling. And like many of you, I struggled at times to lead in a male-dominated world. And in doing that, staying true to myself. So it's like this tension that we all probably have felt at some point. We don't want to lose our femininity, the things that make us, our softness, but we want to succeed and we want to be powerful. And so that's part of what I want to do today, is share how I've navigated that path, how I've embraced my power as a woman and done it without sacrificing my personal authenticity. I think as women, we don't have to live by someone else's rules. And quite frankly, I'm the opposite. If somebody has rules, I typically want to do the other thing. Anyone else can, I see some heads shaking and hands going up. So jazz hands to that. If somebody has rules or a box that they want to put me in, I'm often the one to go, let me see if I can do it a different way. And in this case, it's understanding that we can lead with grace and empathy and connection and still be a very strong, powerful woman in our roles, whatever those roles are, whether it be a stay-at-home mom or a working woman or a little bit of both. I'm not a stay-at-home mom, but I do work from home. So I have a lot of those hugs and kisses in the middle of the day with my little baby girl. And you may hear her laughing in the background. Her dad is downstairs playing with her, so you may hear that. So, I mean, it's hard to be on a meeting and hear the laughing and not want to go down and be like, oh, what's happening? But recognizing I can have that femininity and still be in a very successful, powerful position in my work life. So, the first concept, which is the most important lesson I've learned in leadership that I want to share with you, is this concept of velvet covered steel. That's what I call it. And what does this mean? This is about leading with grace and compassion on the outside, but having an unshakable core of strength. This is knowing when to be soft and empathetic while still being firm and decisive when it matters the most. One of my favorite examples of this is a character that I deeply connect with. Her name is Wendy Rhodes, and she was on the show Billions. She was yes, exactly. I mean, that is how I feel when I think of Wendy Rhodes. And when I think of this concept, velvet covered steel, she fits it perfectly. And her character, for those of you who haven't seen it or maybe just know a little bit about her character is one where she lives in this world between two titans. It's like her husband is on one side, and he's in like the legal field, and then her boss is on Wall Street, and they're both equally powerful men. But she has this sense of like knowing what they need. She is the performance coach at Axe Capital. So she runs the performance of this massive company on Wall Street. But because she knows what they need, it gives her this competitive edge. And she's got this way about her that she like appreciates that hardball world. You can tell that she enjoys swimming with the sharks, but she has this ability to step back and connect and find out, why are people acting the way that they are? And she pulls that out in the show with her husband and also her boss and the people that she leads within her organization. She has a lot of power with people who have a lot of power, and she lives between these two worlds where there's a lot, of course, it's a TV drama. So there's a lot of drama associated with it, but she's got an incredible moral compass. And she is a woman that leads unapologetically, but knows when to be strong and knows when to be soft. And so she is definitely somebody that when I think of her, I think that's a reflection of velvet covered steel. And in my own life, at times when I've embodied this balance, I remember the CEO that I have at the medical group, Alex Spinoso, he's the one I have the podcast with as well. And the company that I work for is called Genesis Lifestyle Medicine. We work with a marketing agency, and I'm involved in all of those calls. And I had asked for some really important data. And I waited and I waited and I didn't get my response. I waited a little longer, and then I gently touched base like, hey, do we have that information? And they replied. And immediately Alex jumped in and said, this is absurd. It took you 10 days to get her the information that she needed. Why did it take you so long to respond? If she asks you a question, it is just like if I ask you a question. So he was able to come in with this strength and say, listen, she is just as valuable as I am. If she asks you for something, 10 days is entirely too long to get her the information that she needs. What that allowed me to do was stay in my softness, stay in my femininity. He came in kind of the more direct, decisive approach, and it allowed me to stay in this place of strength and connection. But it also taught me that at times being assertive is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. And that was a time that I felt like I could have been a bit more assertive. Why did I wait 10 days to get the response that I needed? Why did I wait so long to get to email for that follow-up? And so recognizing that being soft doesn't make me weak, and sometimes being strong is what is necessary in order to kind of be that velvet covered steel. And the balance of both the strength and the compassion is the leadership superpower. That's what we want to find, is that balance between both of those. And I think as women, it's something that when we can tap into the strength side and we don't suppress that, it's a real gift. The compassion side, the empathy, the heart behind our leadership is something that we do naturally. But when we can find the balance of both, it's really, really powerful and it's really magical. So before I launch into like my key points, there's two things I want to share with you, and I'll do these kind of quickly. These are a little bit more personal story side of things. One of the things that I learned early on is that if you want to be everything that you're meant to be, you cannot do everything and you cannot do it all alone. And that's the value of this type of connection with women and the 262 project and everything that Deb is building here and this ecosystem of incredible women, because mentorship is so important for growth as a woman alone and then also as a businesswoman. And it's interesting because we're a group of women, and I would have to say there have been a lot of men in my life that have been mentors and very powerful mentors. And so even if you're surrounded by women, it's not always the people that you pay for or you're looking for mentorship from that are awesome mentors for you. So know that you don't have to do it all alone. And actually asking for help doesn't diminish your strength at all. It actually enhances it. It's something that as women, when we ask for help and we receive, it's really good for us. So be open to ask questions, find out if there's an area of growth that you can embark on. If you need help in something, you don't know something, tapping into resources like what we're doing today, super, super valuable. And one of the most this is the most pivotal story in my career when it comes to this topic. I was running women's events with another woman that I knew. She did fashion and I did beauty. And so we were like, we're going to go have these women's events and go into women's homes and do these like makeover sessions and like clothing audits and makeup bag audits. We'll do it all together. It'll be great. And so we did. We started these in-home kind of parties. And I thought it went great. And in my desire to be ambitious and to really kind of, I guess I would say, go-getter, that feeling of being a go-getter and being ambitious about what I was doing, also led me to be very disconnected from people, very self-centered. I was very much in it for what was I going to get out of it. And I had no free attention. So, you know, when you're talking to somebody and you're like, they're not really here. They're somewhere else. They're not present with me. It was like that. That's what it was like to talk to me. And it was because I was trying so hard to prove myself and prove that I was worth something or that I was valuable. And so it was all about, oh, I've done this or that, or, you know, all this glitz and glam or whatever it was that I thought was going to make people connect with me, but I was doing it all wrong. And so she called me after that event and she said, if this is the woman that's going to show up at these events, I do not want to do business with you. And of course, at first, I was like super defensive and I was like, this, what? You're crazy. But I reflected on her statement and it actually became one of the most transformational moments in my career. because it led me down a path of personal development where I got tapped into different groups and sessions and personal development courses and leadership courses because I knew I had so much to learn about self-awareness, how to be rational, how to be authentic, how to be connected. And I knew that I wanted it. I just didn't know how to go about getting it. And her saying that left me on a path to try to figure it out. So mentors are super important. And oftentimes the ones that you're not paying to be your mentor, those are the ones that are going to speak the most truth in your life because they don't care if they're going to get paid or you're going to hire them again. They're going to say what needs to be said. So watch for those people and really take in what it is that's being reflected back to you. One of my favorite quotes from Sheryl Sandberg is, "We cannot change what we are not aware of. And once we are aware, we can't help but change." And so that was a super important time for me to change. So that was the first thing. Second thing that I learned was that a comfortable life means nothing if you aren't contributing. And I'll share something deeply personal with you in regards to this. Years ago, I was in a marriage where I lived a very comfortable life. He was a high achiever. I didn't really have to work. Things were taken care of, and it was comfortable. But I wasn't contributing. I wasn't contributing to our life. I wasn't living my purpose. And it felt very like I was settling into something that I knew I wasn't going to fulfill my calling, what I'm meant to do and the lives I'm meant to change. It felt very deep down, it felt very empty. I just was not living my purpose or adding value to the world. And one of the things that was the learning about that and why I share that with you is because as we were going through the divorce process, my lawyer said, "What do you want? Like, what do I want from the marriage?" Because there were assets. And it was at that moment I realized I don't want anything. Like, I haven't worked for any of this. It wasn't my doing. I didn't earn any of it, and I wasn't contributing to it. And it was in that moment I knew I wanted to make a change in my life to start to build something that was mine, something that I could say I am adding value to people's lives, and that's why I live in abundance. And I think as women, like I know a lot of women that have been through situations where they've had kids and they've kind of pulled back from the workforce or just haven't fulfilled their purpose for whatever reason. I think it's super important for women to know that contributing and building to something meaningful is such a powerful place in leadership. It's a place where you kind of let go of the comfort and you lead from a place of purpose. And that's a super powerful place to live when it comes to living out your femininity, especially in a world full of men, is living your purpose. And when you're tapped in and living your purpose and you're in your feminine power and your genius zone, you lead in an extraordinary way. So, three things I've learned about leadership: seek commitment, not compliance. This is one that when you think about people wanting something from you, we live in a world of influencers online, and so it's like being an influencer is different than being somebody of influence. So when you're thinking about commitment over compliance, this isn't about just forcing people to do what you tell them to do. If you're a leader in your business or of women or even in your home, it's a lot different when you are forcing somebody to go along with what you say versus inspiring somebody through your feminine qualities to truly shine, to truly show up, to live in their genius zone. One of the games that I played in my personal development course, that first one I took, it was we were separated into two groups, and I was laser focused on winning. I am very competitive. So I really wanted to win this game. I was like, our group is it, we're winning, that's it. And it was a game that as it progressed and we went back and forth, it got more cutthroat. Nope, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to win. And what was interesting is as the game came to a close, what was revealed is that had we collaborated as groups, there was a way for both sides to win. We could have created a win-win. But what I realized in that moment is I was living life as a win-lose. How do I win? How do you, as long as I win, whatever happens with you happens. But as long as I win, that's all I cared about. And recognizing that seeking commitment from people in leadership is about creating win-win situations. This is about winning without somebody else, like it being at the expense of somebody else. And inspiring commitment is not the same as demanding compliance. So as I've moved into this leadership role within our company, we have hundreds and hundreds of employees. It's so important as top level leaders to inspire those people to want to make change in their own life and to want to live in integrity and with our core values of our company. And that only comes through inspiration and not through force. And that's something else as women that we can do really, really well. So the former CEO of Burberry actually did this really well. She really embodied that principle. She took over the brand. It was really struggling. And instead of coming in and like demanding results from her team, she focused on building relationships with everybody. She listened to their concerns. She made them feel valued. And she turned that entire company around. She fostered such deep commitment that the whole brand was revitalized, and now Burberry is killing it today. And it just is a show that women coming in and building those relationships and having commitment from the people around them goes really far. Two things I'll finish with. So I didn't get to go into these next two topics deeply, but as I close up, it's about celebrating, but being in your feminine energy and that feminine leadership is about celebrating freedom of expression in yourself and in others. So it's recognizing, show up wholly and fully and who you are and put it out there and be willing to be fun or quirky or crazy or whatever it is. Be authentic, be real, and do it unapologetically. Show up as yourself. And when you do, you allow other people to show up the same way. The more free you are. I've seen these videos because they pop up on my Instagram now, like of these moms dancing with their babies, and their babies will be in like a super crabby mood or something. And then the mom's in the background being crazy. And then before you know it, the baby's like doing the same thing. It's like the same, right? If we show up unapologetically, fully ourselves, just as authentic as we can in all of our complexities, people will do the same thing. So let your light shine and other people will let their light shine too. It's like giving permission to be you, be great, and allow other women to do the same. So here's what I want to leave you with today about embracing your femininity and leading unapologetically is you do not have to choose between being strong or being soft. You don't have to choose between being assertive or being compassionate. You really can be both. You can lead with empathy and grace and connection, still make tough decisions when it's necessary, and recognize that your feminine leadership is really a strength and it's never going to be a weakness. The ability to do both, building a firm and nurturing, being firm and nurturing at the same time as being decisive and compassionate is a sweet spot and a superpower. So if you're in a world full of men like I am, because I have two business partners on my skincare line, I have two men that I'm in business with. I work for two men in the medical company. And then I have two men. So I have three different aspects to my businesses, I say, in my career. And I have two men on the other side in the roll up that I'm an advisor on. So I'm literally surrounded by men. Recognize if you are surrounded by men, like Wendy Rhodes' character, sometimes we know what they need. And that puts you in a very strong place. And you don't have to give up your femininity to succeed. You don't have to compete with them, complete them, be a part of the big picture, bring all of your femininity to the table because it's your greatest asset. Own it and lead with it and do it unapologetically. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Hello. Do your hearts and your stars and your jazz hands, Amanda. That was so amazing. Thank you. Not only amazing, it was inspiring. I wrote notes. I write notes every time that someone's speaking, but I absolutely love inspired commitment. Just from a phrase itself, how when we're sharing, when we're talking, when we're in that negotiation. I just finished talking about sales, right? Having an inspired commitment, that really got me. I loved what you said. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to pass it over to Stephanie. Stephanie, have you got a question for us with a prize attached?
I sure do, Amanda. That was
Okay.
beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for the velvet covered steel visualization. So important to be feminine and strong and not apologize for it. All right. So our question for Amanda's amazing giveaway, which who doesn't want some gorgeous conceived? It's so exciting. That's such a great giveaway. Is this. Amanda said she was talking about the context if you were a leader and you want to inspire versus force someone into something. She said, seek commitment, not, and then what was the word? So seek commitment, not. Put that word in with your email address, and we will be excited to announce the winner after the summit. Thank you, Amanda.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate you, ladies.